When you're trying to gauge where your self-esteem is right now, the easiest way to do this is to take a sheet of paper and write down all of the things that you really like about yourself and see how long that list is. If you're having a difficult time coming up with things, then you definitely have a self-esteem issue. It's the easiest way to see it, right? If you sit down to make that list and you're like, well, I don't really know anything about positive personality traits that I like, but I know all the negative, and you just start listing all those, you can see where your self-esteem is. If you don't have the ability right now to sit down and list at a minimum 5 things that you love about yourself and that you appreciate about yourself, or that other people love and appreciate about you, like you can't see yourself from the outside looking in, how other people would view you, then you're dealing with low self-esteem. Cultivating self-esteem is really hard, right? Because we're always comparing ourselves to others. We're always looking at the person next door. We're always looking at the person across the street. We're always looking what's going on social media, celebrities, whatever it is that you focus on, to where you get your information that pulls into you, how you think and feel about yourself. And it's not just about your body or your face, it's also about your soul internally, what you're telling yourself. If you are going to choose to live in a state of mind that is one of comparison, you are almost always guaranteed to have low self-esteem. Because if you're going to look at the people around you and say, I'm not good enough until I have that, or I look like that, or I act like that person. I'm not good enough until then because they're better than me. You're already setting the standard for yourself that is way higher than what you think you can achieve, because that person is already out of reach. In essence, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you are going to use this entire life that you have here on earth to compare yourself to other people, to see where you fit in or how you stack up to them, it's going to be a complete waste of your time, a waste of your energy, a waste of the reason why you even came here. We spend so much time thinking about all the things that we wish we had, or we could have, or we could attain, or the way that we could be. You lose track of what we're really doing. Self-esteem is everything. Like, self-esteem is everything. And when I say everything, I mean it's everything. Because every partner that you accept in your life, every person that you attract, anything that you bring into you energy-wise, has everything to do with your own self-esteem. Because if you don't think that you deserve things that you dream about, or things that sound like it would be an amazing experience for you, if you don't think that you deserve those things, the odds of you getting them become lower and lower and lower, especially when you really start talking about energy and self-esteem. I think one of the reasons why self-esteem is so hard to pinpoint for people is because you only know all of the things that only you have thought in your head. And because you think the same thoughts, you just think everybody else thinks the exact same way that you do, because you don't know any different. And how are you supposed to experience any different if you are only that one observer inside your head? So for a good example, like when I had a really rampant eating disorder, I just assumed, because I thought that I was disgusting and fat, that everybody else around myself was always obsessed about that too, because it was the only thought in my head that would run on repeat for a long time. So it took me a long time to figure out other people don't think that way. And I was talking to my sister one day about a sweater commercial, and she was like, oh, that's a cute sweater. And that was it. And I'm like, you don't think anything else other than that? And she's like, no. In my head, what I would hear is, that's a cute sweater, but I'm too fat and I could never wear anything like that, and dismiss it. And then I would shame myself for hours afterwards of like, you're so fat, you can't even get into a sweater. I just think that we need a better gauge for people to start understanding where their self-esteem could be lying in comparison to other people. Because there are people that have really positive thought processes, and then there are people who have all negative, and there are people who have a good mix in between. So it's really important to talk about self-esteem because maybe you think you're doing really well, but there's a potentiality for you to be able to be thinking, focusing, harnessing a thought process and a power for yourself that goes far beyond what your scope of normal mental health for you would be right now. The reality about self-esteem, guys, is that it guides your life. It guides your life in every single way around you. It's the single most important thing that we should all really be working on. And instead, we put that and mental health completely on the back burner. And we just keep trying to cruise through life. And the lower your self-esteem is, the lower your internal worth is, the less you think you are worth, the less you can draw into you and pull into you that life that you want to create, the life that you want to have. Because thoughts and words are super powerful. If you don't think that you are worth something, why would you ever expect someone else to walk into the door of your life and immediately assume that you are worth everything? Because eventually what is going to happen is that low self-esteem, that low self-worth, that feeling that you're inadequate or not good enough is going to start coming out. And it's going to cause damage because it's something that you haven't dealt with. You haven't honed the ability to love yourself. And this is really important, especially if you guys want healthy relationships.